Thank you. I actually like this debate, and particularly I like the moment with the exchange of view on how to evaluate our policies in the ground, what to measure, whether it's the GDP or how to gather the data, how good our policies are and how they really help on the ground. And I think when talking about combating poverty, I think we should much more measure the quality rather than the quantity. Very recently, I got literally hit by a story of Stephanie, and young mother and her 4 kids. They live in Slovakia. This is my home country. And Stephanie, as a single mother, she was among the first one to lose her job during the COVID crisis. So the whole family lost the only income. And one day, Stephanie came home and she found a note. I have chosen to live this life to make it easier for you, Mom. It is easier to feed 3 children instead of 4. Now, this is a note, a suicide note that left her son, 17-year-old Jan. And we have the child guarantee, you know, and there is a perfect goal to pull 5 million children out of poverty. This is a noble idea. But I have to say that we have to make 100% sure that this time our efforts will actually reach to people like Stephanie and her 4 children. A few years ago, as a journalist, I covered a story about young mother Blažena and her son Andrej. You know, there were people from Sociálnom. Sociálnom is a separated and segregated Roma settlement on the very top of a very steep mountain in Slovakia. And Sociálnom is 10 kilometers away from the nearest village, and there are no paved roads. So when we entered the settlement, we were actually instructed by the locals. You're looking for Blažena and her son Andrej. Actually, they lived there by the shed where the 2 kids froze to death last winter. Those frozen children died because of the isolated environment, because of the unpaved roads, because of missing gas and because of missing electricity, now in 21st century in European Union. Sociálnom, just like hundreds of other segregated Roma settlements, is so isolated that the reality of the situation never becomes part of our data that we gather. And this is our first mistake. This is why we fail with our policies so often. So in the end, we found Blažena and we found her 6-year-old son, Andrej. Andrej is a boy who was born with glaucoma. This is an eye disease that can be treated by regular visits to the doctor. And when I interviewed the ophthalmologist, she told me, you know, gypsies, they don't treat their children as we do ours. I told that mother to come on regular basis, but she ignored it. Their children should be taken away from them by authorities because they are no good parents. And this is, I think, the second reason why we fail so often, because it's so easy to blame the parents and then get rid of the responsibility of the children by local and national governments. Because was it really Blažena to be blamed? You know, this was a woman who lived up in the hill, surrounded by a forest, 20 kilometers away from the doctor. She had no money for traveling, nor the strength to carry her son through the woods. Could she get a job? I suppose yes. In a very romantic world she could, because who will hire a Roma mother who lives in a forest? They have no water in Sociálnom, no central heating, no electricity, and no hope. So Andrej, who is 6 years old, got completely blind. And in a perfect world, of course, Andrej could attend a preschool facility, right? But in Sasa, there are no preschool facilities for children with special needs. So this is the third reason we are failing. Schools, healthcare providers, governments, local, national governments, the NGOs, the social workers, they should be all cooperating for Andrei to help, but they are not. With no education, no healthcare, and no housing, Andrei is caught in the very same vicious circle as his mother was years ago. He has no future. And I think if we want to change this, we have to do three things. First, we have to gather better data on national level, and these data have to reach to children like Andrei, who live basically out of our civilized world. Second, to make sustainable changes in the lives of children who live in poverty, we also have to help the parents, because they also need a way out of the vicious circle. And three, we have to get rid of resortism, misuse of European funds, and the unwillingness to cooperate on national levels. Because I truly believe that only if we work together, we can turn things better for Andrei and the 18 million other children within EU who actually live in poverty. Thank you.
Thank you very much.